I'm joined by Emmet Ryan, and Emmet, we're back at the villa. How did we end up here?
Well, Colleen, we initially tried to do this little post-race interview at Colleen at the finish line, but then this happened.
Out on the road, like, you know, are you always just as much work we blown over by a gale? It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So as you can see, the weather conditions down there, well, the wind particularly meant we couldn't do the interview here. So we're back here at the villa, and Colleen, well, it's all finished.
All finished and all going well. You might tell me a little bit about the final day firstly. A bit different in contrast to the previous 27 days, of course. The weather was a bit kinder, the roads were a bit kinder as well, and you didn't have to jump into as many ditches.
Yeah, I've got to say, like, getting to the finish line was pretty straightforward enough. Like, we had like lovely weather, very quiet roads, like you were saying. Like, the sun was shining almost all day. I had a couple of mild showers, but they were very brief and very early. Most of the day it was just like glorious sunshine and no traffic, so that was all going pretty well. Then things started to get a little funny. People who've read the blog already know a bit about this. I got to the finish line area and, well, I walked in a film shoot and they weren't exactly like the most accommodating people, shall we say. And so, you know, I wasn't barking too loudly at them. I was pretty quiet with them. I was just annoyed at them because they were trying to make me move when I was looking for my finish line, which was Colleen here and my flatmate Kieran. And essentially, it turned out they'd taken a different route in, but I was getting quite frustrated because it's the build-up really of sort of all that energy sort of you've lost, all that pain you built up. So I went out, found the lads, had a bit of a freaker, but we got to the finish line eventually in the end, and so it all worked out. I crossed the finish line about an hour after I found the finish line. Yeah, no, so it's looking good. Like, the big interesting thing really has been sort of since I came back, because sort of one of the things when you're doing something like this, a 4-week sort of journey or trek, like your body is sort of realizing that, right, gonna have to keep this energy up, gonna have to hold back on certain things for the course of the 4 weeks. So like pretty much like during the thing, obviously I was in some pain, I was feeling some fatigue, but like I was still, every morning I'd be able to get up, I'd be able to go on and do what I was doing. So the big thing I've noticed as I got back is that I've absolutely shattered and quite sore. So you know, even standing here now for this interview was pretty tiring, to be honest. So that's something that's been very interesting.
That you have taken on a 500-mile challenge successfully, and now you're tired talking to me here.
Well, I suppose the big thing is like it's the fatigue sort of builds up, like, and your body is smart enough to realise, listen, got to hold off here, can't have the big crash until a certain point. So the big crash really came there on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm sort of still getting over it now, like, you know, but I'm glad I did it for obviously a worthy cause. Like, it's one of the big things I want to get across, like, in today's interview is, like, you know, we're still collecting donations till the end of October, October 26th. As some people might be aware, Colleen, we've got a bit of a gimmick. Essentially, we stop collecting donations at the moment I cross the finish line in Dublin Marathon. So we'll have someone there with a mobile phone to shove it in my face, and that'll basically be to like Kieran or someone who's back home monitoring on my charity page, and as soon as I cross the finish line, or as soon as I get the message through that I've crossed the finish line, bang, we stop collecting donations there and then. So I think the most bizarre one for me, like, having thought about it the last couple of days, was definitely when I got physio treatment in my mate's flat. Adrian Russell, he's a journalist with The Examiner. You should read his article, his column, The Deadline. Anyway, Adrian was putting me up for a night in Cork City, and this physio down there, Sinead, had offered to give me sort of a treatment. So I said, yeah, grand stuff. Figured out we gone out to wherever her, like, you know, place is, her thingy. And anyway, so he goes, right, yeah, sure, I'll come out to where you're staying. So we had this bizarre sight of me getting physio treatment on a table right behind 3 lads on a couch watching football, drinking beer. Pretty surreal.
You'd plenty of goodwill and support along the way. Of course, you got great media coverage, both the national papers, local media as well, all rowing in behind you, and it allowed for guys to stop, beep their horns, give you some support. Some weird people along the way though as well, but all in good form.
Yeah, it was nice meeting sort of a nice collection of people, like some, you know, some a bit stranger than others, but like most of them are all pretty nice. Like, obviously sort of, you know, I mentioned the blog, there was various different ways in which I met people, like couchsurfing.com and a few other websites, and that sort of helped sort of mix it up, because like if I just met the same sort of type of people everywhere I went, it would have been kind of boring and wouldn't have much of a story to tell.
Will you do it again?
Well, I don't plan on doing something like this for quite some time, Colin. Like, I've got a few crazy ideas running around in my head, all of which will be revealed in the future, don't worry, guys. At the moment,
walkforcf.ie.
Walkforcf.ie, obviously. The next 2 projects I've got are, like, which are part of this project. Like, the next 2 things I've got the Dublin Half Marathon, which is on the 26th of this month, September, And then I've got the Dublin Marathon, which is on the 26th of October. Like the half marathon in truth is more just a sort of preparation race, like, because like 13 miles in truth isn't that much for me at all, like at this stage. The marathon in Dublin, like, you know, I'm familiar enough with the course at this stage. So one of the things we're going to do actually, and it's something you should definitely keep coming back to the website for, is over the next few weeks between now and the Dublin Marathon, we're going to have a few instructional videos for anyone who's doing the Dublin. It'll be particularly useful for people who either haven't done it in a while or who are doing it for the first time, because it's just some of the basic tips, like, you know, basic tips that you don't really get in most marathon guides for how to do a marathon, like little things that people wouldn't tell you because they assume you're a better athlete than you are, I suppose. And also one of the things we're going to do is a bit of a course guide, so we'll be looking at some of the tougher or the more interesting parts of the course, and more importantly, I suppose, some of the parts of the course people don't realise are as challenging as they actually are. Like the classic one really, I suppose, is for newcomers, like once you hit Milltown, it looks like it isn't that bad at all, but you're actually facing significant challenge for the next 2.5 miles. So that's one of the things we'll be doing, so keep an eye on walk4cf.ie. We'll have these videos coming up over the next few weeks. It'll be me, and we'll have a few guests, hopefully past marathon runners, just joining me on the course, talking about parts of the course they find particularly interesting. So join us here at walk4cf.ie for that. And I think if you want to survive doing a marathon and you haven't done one before, it'll definitely be a must-see TV situation.
Do you take your own advice?
For the most part I do. I should have taken my own advice better during the walk, in that I should have eaten more in the mornings, but I wouldn't have lost as much weight as I did if I had. But like in truth, no, it's like I for the important stuff, as I put it, like for like sort of how you treat your feet, how you treat your body, and then even how you treat parts of your body you wouldn't think are important to the marathon, which we will get to in much grosser detail, I assure you, in these videos. You know, these are kind of things which you wouldn't actually think of, like, so we're hoping to sort of give stuff, you know, we're hoping to give everybody who comes along to it something new, something that'll benefit every kind of runner.
So you also have plenty of thanks to dish out there, and a couple of booyahs as well.
Oh yeah, well, a big booyah to all the boys in DCU Saints who were giving me lots of support along the way, and also to like pretty much the entire sort of, I suppose, DCU, UCD, and pretty much global debating community who were giving me lots of help along the way. Also to a lot of GA people out there, in particular Kilmacud Crokes, but there are other clubs out there like the Cronal Gales, Ballinrobe, you know, it's and a few others that definitely chipped in and helped me find, and Tubbercurry, of course, who chipped in and helped me find places to stay along the way. So big chance to my parents as well for like setting up all those connections. And this is, I suppose, also to the people who really, you know, who didn't know me or didn't know anyone I knew, who found out about me through various means, often the internet, who said, listen, dude, want to stay with us? We got a bed, we can see you need one. So, you know, to them in particular, big thanks. Oh yeah. And as Colin just said there, like, you know, it's like the media as well. Thank you very much, guys. I always forget about my fellow journalists. You know, in the world of journaltainment, that can happen. But the media definitely a big help. Colleen here, who's been blatantly plugging for thanks, but yes, he does actually deserve one. Pat Clancy as well, who did a lot of work, and also his colleague Anita Gadera, and a few other people who've helped out along the way. They've and Kira, my flatmate, of course. And Colleen's just feeding me names here because I'm kind of tired on a morning doing this interview. But yeah, no, that's been great. Like, and like, you know, Kieran was a huge help. Obviously, what a lot of people don't realise is that half the blog posts, at least, were written up by Kieran. I rang him up at night.
Any spelling mistakes, it's his fault.
Well, yeah, that's true, obviously. Like, but like, I basically I'd ring him up at the end of the day, like, and you know, I'd transcribe them to him over the phone. He'd like go type them up because I had no facilities to really put it together. And so that's pretty much it. Like, listen again. So I hope we didn't ramble too much for you in this video. I'm sure we've been going on forever. And well, anyway, listen. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and keep an eye on walk4cf.ie. If you're still here, remember you can donate at that little thing up in the right hand corner. I'm not sure which way to point, but there's a corner up at the top of this page, and in case he's wrong, there's a corner up the top of this page. Have a look at it, and you know, please donate, because great cause. And thanks to everybody in the CF Association of Ireland as well who helped out along the way. And so I suppose that's it for walk4cf.ie for now.